Welcome back to Cottage Designs by Erin, where today we are going to be working on a Herrschner stamped Christmas tree quilt cross stitch kit. It looks like this. You can buy it off of eBay. There are numerous kits left. Just type in Herrschner's cross stitch tree skirt and our Herrschner stamped cross stitch, and it will come up. There's numerous ones available. So I'm going to move the camera to my hands now and show you what we're working with. Okay, so as we open it up, we have a picture of the finished product. We have the directions. It came with a needle. It came with all of this beautiful floss that's necessary. Fuchsia 127. Pink 121, pink 122, green 1036, and the floss is not DMC. The floss is a different brand. It just says Craftways on it. I'm sorting it out here as we go. Okay, then we have a bright fuchsia, which is 125. 1037, a dark sage. A dark pine green, number 435. A beautiful burgundy red, 936. Okay, and so we have 2 dark green, 4 medium, 3 light. We have 2 bright fuchsia, 3 medium, baby pink, 2 medium fuchsia, and 1 burgundy, for a total of about 18 skeins of floss. So now, the skirt itself is pre-quilted, so let's look at that. That means there's no sewing necessary. It has already been finished. It's nice and thick. As you can see, the cross-stitch X's are very large and easy to see, which as we get older is, you know, significant. We need to be able to see it because some kits, especially by Busilla, sometimes their stamped cross-stitch kits are very small. So now we have the directions. Let's see what it says. Refer to stitching diagrams for number of strands used for each stitch. Let's do that. To ensure a smooth finish to your work, always divide embroidery floss into separate strands before stitching, even if you're using all 6 strands. Then recombine the required number of strands. Cut floss 15 inches of length. Then use the other hand to pull 1 strand of floss. Before you pull the next strand, smooth out the remaining bunch strands and repeat this step. Okay, begin your embroidery with an area of color to choose the center of design. Work from the center outward, being careful not to pull your floss too tightly. Okay, the reason you work from the center out is because you don't want anything to pucker, okay? Secure the floss at the end, making 2 back stitches under the preceding stitches on the back of your work. Cut the end as close to the back stitch as possible. Cotton or linen fabric should be hand washed, machine washed using the delicate cycle. Now, you do not ever, ever in the history of ever wash stamped cross stitch first, because if you wash it, it will wash out the design that you're stitching. So you stitch it first, and then if you want to wash it, you would wash it last. Use 3 strands of floss, make a row of diagonal stitches, then work back over these stitches as shown. Okay, we have several diagrams. Let's see what we got. So this appears to be the side. The diagram is nice and large. And then here is the front. Okay, so let's see here. Let's look at our colorway. It does not say to use a hoop. So since the fabric is so sturdy and so thick, I don't think that a hoop would be necessary. But you could use one, you know, if you just wanted to, just to remind yourself where you're at. All right, so I'm looking to see where I would like to start. Oh, say, okay, so medium jade is 1037. So here's the medium green, 1037. Going to open my needle. Well, how about we just poke it through like that? It's saying on here, all the crosses take three strands. So I'm going to, now here's what my aunt taught me to do. Pull it, make it as long as your elbow, and then cut it off. This was, in my mind, a fairly expensive kit. It was $45 plus shipping. So, you know, in a teacher's world, a $50 project is kind of expensive, but I think it'll be well worth it because I'll have it for many years. So what I just did there is I divided the 6 strands into 3. Of course, I've got one piece that doesn't want to cooperate with me. You want to try to keep your floss straight. This floss is cotton, and it feels a lot like Anchor. It's kind of, it's a little thick. It's a little waxy. It's not very, it's not as smooth as, say, DMC. Okay, this is not working for me, so I'm going to cut my ends. I had my bifocals on, but it's sad to say sometimes I see just as well when I'm trying to do something up close with no glasses. Okay, so we're all threaded up. We're ready to go. I am going to start by the poinsettias. Right here, there's a little swirly vine of holly. So using 1037, the closest stitch next to the poinsettias, I'm going to go ahead and make my first stitch. This is very thick. It's like a baby quilt. Now, you can either go to the right or you can go to the left. I tend to work my stitches to the right and then I go left second. All right, now I am going, even though it didn't say to do it, I'm going to make a teeny tiny knot. I will work my last stitch under, but I'm going to start with a little tiny knot underneath the fabric. So we pull. We're going to go to the right. And now we're going to go to the next stitch. which is the same color, because they do switch colors now. You're not going to be using the same color for all this. And we're going to come up, go to the right, and then come back left. Okay, it makes one more stitch directly underneath this in the same color. And then it switches colorways. All right, let me see what's doing. Okay, then the same colors continue down here, directly underneath. So we're going to go ahead and do that since we're in close proximity. You don't want to travel your threads too long because it'll make a messy back and it will use up too much of the thread. You don't want to run short. So you want to try to keep your stitches short. You don't want to travel your thread real far because then it will use up too much and you may run out of the exact color they sent you. I do not expect to finish this tree skirt for this Christmas, but I do expect to finish it for next year. Okay, so those are all the stitches in that area that are this color. There are no more in close proximity. So we're going to flip it over on the back, and we're now going to run our stitch underneath the last stitch. And then we're going to cut it off close to the design. So it looks like that. And then this is what our first little set of stitches look like. Now, to get the variation, you would then go on to the next color, which is 564 Light Jade. So Light Jade butts up next to this dark green, and then that's how you get the variation in color. So now what I like to do, I don't have a highlighter on my desk at the moment, but I will get the highlighter out of the living room and I will highlight these stitches right here is where I started right next to the poinsettia. So that way then I'll know what has been completed, and if I put it down for a couple weeks, I'll know where I left off. Now, if you notice on this particular pattern, there are a lot of color changes. So if you look at the poinsettia in particular, you might do 3 stitches of one color and then you go to another color. Then you might do 4 to 6 and then you go to another color. So it does change color schemes quite often. I hope you learned something new from my video today. Once you finish your project, it will look like this. Ta-da! Which I think is just magnificent. But again, a pink Victorian Christmas is just my vibe. So if you're interested in buying this kit, go to eBay, type in Herrschners stamped Christmas tree Herrschners stamped Christmas tree quilt, and it will come up. Thank you for watching.